Game starts in New York City. It's 5 o'clock in the morning and we see police looking on some dead bodies and 50 Cent is standing on the roof watching them and telling us some crazy ass shit just happened. And all of a sudden he gets shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the back. 1 hour earlier 50 receives a message on a pager and when he calls he hears one of his homies needs help. Joined by Lloyd Banks, Young Buck and Tony J.O., he gets on the streets. Turns out some masked G's got K-Dog, and when they spot G-Unit, a shootout starts. Lloyd tries to open the locked door while 50 and the rest are covering him. When they get inside the building, they massacre all those guys, and I tell you, the title of the game doesn't lie. 50 really is bulletproof. Not giving a single F about taking cover and stuff like that. He even had some special moves prepared. I mean, damn! Though maybe it should be called 50 Cent Body Count because it's the first mission and they already killed like 200 enemies. 50 reaches the roof and duels with a guy named Von Snikes under some cute product placement. Snikes drops down, police sirens are getting closer and closer and 50 Cent leaves wondering, who were those guys anyway? Well, you might have just asked one of them, but even when you get close enough to chat, you rather did this, homeboy. And we're back to the moment he got shot 5 times in the back. Oh wait, I think this time I counted 7. And oh, he gets 2 more, that's 9! 9 shots! And I knew it, I knew that this is where we're going, legendary 9 shots. 50 wakes up in some shithole, looking like he rather fell off a bike than was shot 9 times, and it turns out he was there for 3 days. This guy is Doc Friday, and he's a miracle man. I mean, Jesus has nothing on this man. 3 days he healed 50 from getting shot 9 times. But he lost his license when he started to write his own prescriptions, if you know what I mean. He hooks 50 up with some pills that help when he got shot 9 times, and he falls asleep again. Couple weeks later he got better and Doc gave him a hint to go to the pawn shop. And on the street he meets those grateful hoes. Yeah, you heard it right, grateful hoes. I mean, if that's not a perfect name for a strip club, I don't know what is. While in the pawn shop he meets Box and turns out he assumed 50 was dead, so he just took his electronics and put them in his pawn. But don't worry, he promises to give it back. Oh my god, is that Dr. Dre? Well, I guess it is. But in this game he goes by the name Grease. 50 follows him and meets Popcorn, who gets 50 Cent back into shape. Then he meets Box, who shows him where to look for a corrupt cop named McVicar, who turns out to be a real Slim Shady, if you know what I mean. Anyways, he gives him a bribe and tells 50 that K-Dog, you know, the guy he tried to rescue before got shot 9 times, was taken by the FBI as a witness. And he gives him an address. Turns out it's a huge mansion protected by an army of security agents, but if you think 50 Cent is gonna sneak or something, then I guess you weren't paying attention so far. 50 and Lloyd Banks cut through the garden and the security like a knife through a butter. They got inside the building through the wine basement, and it turns out someone was actually quicker, and K-Dog and the FBI agents are already dead. 50 takes his cell phone and also finds a voice recorder and spots a new tattoo on his homie's arm. The NG unit escapes through the kitchen, being attacked by some special unit, but I'm not really sure if they are police or mercenaries, as they look much like those enemies from the beginning of the game. Back in his crib, 50 meets McVicar, who tells him that a guy fitting his description is a main suspect in the safe house murders. 50 says that they tried to set him up, and the cop advises him he better straight up this fast or he will be in trouble. 50 goes to Bax and asks him to crack K-Dog's phone. And what we witness there is the weirdest way to receive money for a service ever. Turns out one of the messages is from a guy who says he was supposed to meet Spider 3 days ago. Later, Bucks traced some phone call to a junkyard owned by bikers, so 50 went there. He introduces himself as K-Dog, and this redneck Santa Claus gets really pissed at him for being so late, and another shootout breaks. Soon Eminem joins in, and I'ma call this guy Eminem because first of all, he is Eminem, and second, McVicker is the stupidest name I ever heard. Since Spider refused to pay Eminem, the corrupt cop is more than glad to help deal with him. The junkyard is a cover-up for a drug business, and after a heavy fight all over the place, 50 finds Spider in an underground warehouse. He injures him badly and burns down his kitchen. He also spots a tattoo on his arm, similar to the one he saw earlier on K-Dog's arm, but an explosion throws him on the floor and Spider uses this moment to escape. 50 also jumps out in the last second and Spider tries to sneak on him, but he is too weak, so he faints. And you know what? 50 just cuts off his tattoo. I mean, he could have taken a picture with a cell phone. He shows it to Box and he says he saw it on a Chinese dude who visited him about a month ago. So 50 goes to Chinatown. This guy name is Wu Jay. When he hears about K-Dog, he alarms his guards and they start shooting again. So 50 kills all of them and goes down into the garage, kills a few more and finds Wu Jay's van filled with money. While he's back on the subway, he's again approached by the masked dudes. He figures they probably tracked him through K-Dog's cell phone. 50 manages to handle them, but soon the train crashes due to an explosion on the rails. He survives the crash, but more enemies approach him, so he must defend himself and find a way out. He manages to escape on the other station and searching through one of the bodies, he finds a DEA ID card. Eminem tells him to meet Lou Petra, an ex-corrupted cop. Nowadays he runs his own gang in the project, so it was not easy to take him down, but G-Unit manages to get his ass. Back in the hood, 50 meets Booker, who tells him some federals were asking for him. Then he says K-Dog was involved in some kind of a drug conspiracy. They also figured that the address in the book found on the junkyard is a warehouse near the water. That means drug shipping and probably some big shipment is coming up. 50 goes to the docks and he wants to get some info about this expected shipment, but the guy there pushes a quiet alarm calling his pals, so guess 50 won't get any info without shooting a few bullets. And when he deals with that, he takes the shipment schedule and leaves. He gets in touch with Eminem and he tells him about that guy Spinoza. Not only did he try to kill 50 at the subway station, but he also was there on the night of the ambush on K-Dog. And turns out, he is the one who shot 50 Cent 9 freaking times. 50 asks for Eduardo Vasquez and Eminem gives him the guy's address. Turns out, he is dead, because actually that address turned out to be a dissecting room. But you know what? Vasquez has the same tattoo. Meanwhile, some Latino gangsters show up and try to take over the place. 50 fights them and orders the guy who works there to burn Vasquez's body to get rid of the evidence. After that, he escapes through the sewers and goes to see Popcorn. Turns out Popcorn is tied by some schmucks, but 50 easily deals with them. Popcorn says that they were looking for Curtis. 50 actually came here to show Popcorn the heroin that was found in Vasquez's body. Popcorn says it's not a heroin, but a pure Afghanic opium. McVicker says there's this guy who was caught with opium recently, but he cooperates with FBI, so they let him go. And Eminem doesn't know his name because his case is confidential, but he knows he works for Lupo's crew. So 50 goes to his illegal casino to meet him, and he receives a cold steel welcome. After dealing with the security, he looks for Lupo, but let's just say he found him first. When 50 awakes, he hangs on the wall and Lupo has got his butcher ready to cut some meat. First he orders Sam the butcher to kill the other guy, and then to cut 50's legs. But Dr. Dre shows up and starts shooting. Lupo tries to escape, but they shoot through his talks and Curtis catches the guy. Lupo is a big fish in the drug business, and they find a tape with the recording of him setting up a drug shipment with Spinoza and some Middle Eastern guy. 50 looks at the shipment schedule and spots a delivery from Saudi Arabia addressed to a guy named Makada Muhammad, who actually works in embassy. 50, Alexa and Eminem figure together. that Muhammad might cut a deal with Spinoza to gain access to the US distribution chain, and as a diplomat connected with the terrorist organizations, he might have an access to more than just an opium. But as they speak, Alexa gets kidnapped by Spinoza and Muhammad. 50 Cent wants to go to save her, but Eminem arrests him because he wants to bust those guys instead of killing them. But turns out that only slows 50 down. Soon he gets out, he gathers his crew, and they go to the docks. They get on the ship and search for Muhammad. 50 Cent duels him between the containers and manages to kill him. But still, he has to take down Spinoza, who holds Alexa as hostage. McVicker tries to interfere, but he gets shot in the leg and Spinoza runs away. But 50 Cent corners him, so they put few hundred bullets into each other and Spinoza falls down on the ground. 50 makes sure he is really dead by putting 2 bullets in his head. And you know what? Turns out this homeless guy was actually a CIA agent, and he was the one who helped Curtis get out of prison. And now he's letting him to go free. Those shipments were containing missiles, so actually 50 Cent and his crew probably prevented a terrorist attack. Plus, they took control of the drug business with no competition around. So what can a G do? One last word with Eminem.
I don't know, spend it on your kid.
Tell you the truth, I don't even have a kid.
To tell you the truth, that gives me some hope for humanity.
And that's how the game ends.